Hey, you're now tuned in to Underdog Talk Podcast. I'm your host, Eric Jones Jr., the underdog with the heroic heart. I have conversations with successful underdogs, and today I have another successful underdog. Might be my cousin, don't know, Miss Lillie Mae Jones, business consultant, media correspondent, public educator. Whatever it is out there, I'm pretty sure she got her hands on it, or she know about it, or she working with somebody that's doing it. How are you doing this evening?
I am doing well. How are you?
I am tired. I ain't even gonna lie to you. I ain't gonna hold you. I'm tired. It's been a long week. I don't know what
I'm
my
with you.
students been on.
I'm with you all the way, baby. Trust me, I'm with you.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what this week and the kids like. I don't know if it was a full moon. They know something. I don't know, but they all have been just off the chain, and I'm like, okay. And then it's been like the busiest week. I'm busy. As soon as I get off work every day, and I'm like, okay, what's going on here?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yep, that
All
sounds
right,
all right.
go ahead. Oh, okay. So let's get into our conversation. I never like really have a title. I always go through the episode and I pick something that really, sparks my attention. But I'm gonna go into you do all these things right now. But I know it was at a point you wasn't doing all these things. Life wasn't looking good like it was. You was, life was punching you in the face. What was going on? What were you doing? How old were you? What was you at? What was going on?
So, okay, a lot of people love to say, "Oh yeah, I came from the struggle." People really like to say that. I can't say that. I can honestly say life was always kind of easy. And the reason I say it, well, easy relative to accomplishing things and being able to do things, because I grew up in a very, very comfortable home, if that makes sense. So, a lot of the struggles that you hear a lot of people talk about, my brother and I didn't have those.
Mm,
Now, I will say that one of the major battles that have fought all my life is that obesity battle. Even though I've had a significant weight loss of about 200 pounds over the past 13 years, obesity is something that you always battle with because you're forever trying to maintain. So that would probably be that never ending war. You win some of the battles, but you never win that war. Now,
mm.
as we talk about, the different things that I do, I grew up in a household where I watched my parents do a lot. So my mother was a homemaker, for the majority of my brother and I life because they were old. 46 when she had me. My dad was 56. My daddy retired when I was in the first grade. So yeah. So, oh, trust me, I remember that Social Security check coming on the third of the month. I got one, my mama got one, my brother and So I remember. But it was so interesting because even though my father was retired, guess what? He kept working. So, I grew up around livestock and things of that nature because, growing up in shout out to my hometown, Danville, Virginia. I thank God that I was born and raised in the last capital of the Confederacy because it taught me how to fight with my words, how to fight with my perseverance, and how to fight with my intellect, and not walking around beating up everybody like I did for a little while. I ain't gonna even front. Like I don't, but as an adult, I can't go around smacking the hell out of people.
Yeah.
Um, but I'm grateful because growing up in an area like that, it taught me so much. You always hear people say, "Oh, those Southerners, they slow and this and that." But I've noticed this day and time, more Northern city slickers get messed over than us Southerners. Why? Because we're taught to watch. We're taught to be vigilant. We're taught that they are going to get you. So it's a little bit different. So honestly, Eric, it's been crazy because when I really sit back and think about my life, I'm so utterly grateful that I really have not had to struggle. And any struggles that I had were primarily self-inflicted.
Mm, okay. So one thing, you're not just going just talk about Northers, because I'm from up north Indiana. You know, I'm up north is
But
almost it
no,
gets.
I'm thinking about northeastern region.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know.
But I definitely not to overlook the whole thing, but to not I understand that from being from up north, like people from like I live in Indianapolis, so that's neutral, like that's in the middle, and then as you go down in Indiana, like people act different. So I definitely understand that. So you said you didn't have the struggle as like most of our culture claims they had, or some people actually had it, but a lot of people want to, oh, I came from this. It don't, like I don't understand bragging about the struggle. To me now as an adult and learning, it just means our parents didn't have enough resources, or they didn't care enough to have a better life. They, because sometimes people get caught up in government assistance and living on Section 8, getting food stamps, and that's cool, but it's not really cool because there's more to life than that. So I applaud you for being honest, and I love how you gave the backstory of like, hey, nah, I ain't about to sit on here and be like, I came from oodles and noodles, and none of that. So I appreciate that. So you didn't like have that struggle, but where did was it like as a kid? Did it happen as an adult or a young adult? Don't know how old you are, and I don't ask women how old they are. So if you tell
Oh,
us, you
I'm a
tell us.
proud 36. I'm a
Oh,
proud 36 with no children. I'm proud of it, baby.
okay. So you're a year older than me, so we're around the same age. So what age, what time frame of your life did you like? Oh, I want to do something different. I don't want to go to a 9 to 5. When did that spark into your brain?
Okay, so let's talk about that. I do have a eight. Well, actually, I have a 7:30 to 6.
Mm,
10 hours a day, 4 days a week. I am a behavioral health practitioner for a major MCO.
okay.
So I never had the thought that I wasn't going to work a job and still have businesses because I use common sense and not virtual reality that a lot of us are so eloquently disguised by. You know what I'm saying? Um, I actually started this entrepreneurial thing because I just had to help people that were similar to me. And by that, I mean, I told you how old my parents were when they had me. So when I went to college, my parents didn't know anything about applying to college, financial aid, um, college registration. They ain't know nothing about all of that. All they knew was work. You feel me? So I had to teach myself all of that stuff. Consequently, when I got to the university and the upperclassmen, I was like, well, shoot, I haven't seen my academic advisor, and it's a semester before graduation. I better go talk to somebody to make sure I'm a graduate. I went to talk to my academic advisor. Everything was on point. All I had to do was, I think, take a Spanish or something like that, and I was ready to graduate. And it was at that point I said, you know what? I'm going to start doing things with academic advisement and career readiness. That's how I started the consulting firm. At that time, I just flipped my last name backwards. So it was Sanaj Consulting. So then as I got older and I decided, okay, I'm going to law school. I said, okay, I'm gonna apply to law school and this. And so I applied and everything, got into a dual enrollment program with VCU and U of R. And it was just kind of like, okay, let's take these studies and apply it to what you're doing with the consulting firm, and let's just keep going. So I start adding on contracts, and I start adding on like the interpretation of policy. So through graduate school, I got an internship with the Department of Corrections, and I worked on the governor's reentry program. So I'm like, well, shoot. Oh, I got this now. So now I'm taking the criminal justice, the biology, and I'm using the public administration and the law. So when I graduated from VCU, I went back home to my hometown for about 2.5, 3 years. I worked in two positions in my hometown, and one really set me up for the rest of my life because I was called a comprehensive services director. And what that meant was I was responsible for developing a governmental entity that catered to at risk youth and families. Now, what that looked like was it should have been a three-person office: the director, an assistant, and like a coordinator that kind of helped put everything together. Well,
Mm-hmm.
like I told you before, I grew up in the last capital of the Confederacy. Number one at the time, let me see, this was 2011, 2010, 2012. So I'm a 26, 27-year old, real black woman, like real black woman, really know where she come from. Long nails, long weave, loud, but she's articulate and she has the paper to let you know that she's able to withstand whomever and whatever they put in her employ. So, with that being stated, I worked in that position. And the interesting thing about that position was that I was responsible for allocating funds. And I was responsible for allocating about $5 million at any given time. Now,
Mm-hmm.
that's unheard of. Somebody that's never been in a position to do something of that nature, and you have them in a position to allocate all of these funds. It's like, okay, hold up, player. But I knew what to do, I knew how to do it. And the interesting thing was that I had to develop the operations manual from the ground up. So, Eric, by the time I finished doing that, and I had never done nothing like that before, I said, man, forget this. I need my own entity. Because if I can do this for the Commonwealth of Virginia, I can do this for other people. And lo and behold, 10 years later, I'm able to stand up and say, I operate my consulting firm full time.
Mm. I wish I had the. I can't wait till I get the whole, board so I could do like the clapping hands or
Oh.
like, yeah, that's dope. Like, I like how first you said you wanted to help people that looked like or that was living like or dealing with what you were dealing with. A lot of times we want to try to help other people because it looked good. It looks sexy to go help somebody else. But when you help people that are like you, it's not that they look like you, it's that they're like you. And you're able to help them because you know exactly what they need. You know the questions they ask. It's like when they say have your target audience. Your target audience is who you are.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that's, this is the thing. You got your target audience and you have your ideal audience, right?
Mm,
And your ideal audience are the people that you want to see you, the people that you want to see what you're doing. But your target audience, those are the people that need it. Those are the people that align with what you're talking about and what you're doing. You feel what I'm saying? So for me, it's always been about purpose over popularity. I grew up
mm-hmm.
very traditional. Like my mom and daddy did not play. You feel what I'm saying? They did not play. My mama will tell you quick. I said what I mean, and I mean what I said. Now you stray away from it if you want to, but I'm gonna tear your ass up. And guess what? She told my ass up. Let me tell you this, and I don't even think I've even told this story on my own broadcast. I was in seventh grade. I remember it to the T. I was at OT Bonner Middle School and Miss Brumel's language art class. That's how you know my mama came and whipped my ass. I was in seventh grade, and so I had got to the point. you know how you want to be bad. Like everybody
Yeah.
think you a goody two shoes because you smart and you in the gifted program and you doing this and you doing that and you tired of people calling you smart and you tired of people doing this and doing that. So you start turning up, honey. That principal called my mama. Now you remember I said my mama was a homemaker, so she at
Mm-hmm.
home all day long. Man, all I know is, normally they call you over the PA system. No, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-mm. There was a knock on the door, and I was cutting up. And some little boy face. It was this dude named BJ. BJ was sitting beside me because he lived around the corner from us. So we was talking, and I'm laughing and playing in class because I had already got my work done. So I just distracted everybody else. Honey, I looked up. Miss Brumel said, "Lillie Mae, can you come to the door?" And my mama said, she ain't got to come to the door because I'm coming in. I said, oh, shit. Honey? She said, come here. She turned me around in front of that class. My mother said, let me tell y'all something. Y'all don't have to get y'all education and y'all can be some little do-nothings. But this one right here, her fat tail gonna get her education. Honey, when I tell you my mom cut my backside and Miss Brumel said, you can't do that, Miss Jones. She said, as long as she's mine, I'm going to tear her tail up every time. Do you know that I never got in trouble to that degree in school ever again because my mother whooped my ass in front of my 7th grade class? Do you know
Listen.
my friends remember that too? They
Oh
remember.
yeah. Oh yeah. Friends remember that. My mom was strict and but she ain't never come up and whooped me in school. But
Oh no, my
um,
mom ain't played
it,
like.
it's definitely whoopings. I remember um second grade, third grade. I think a couple in middle school. I remember those. I remember the ass whoopings.
Mhm.
The worst trouble I ever got in. Um, I got all F's on my report card. I got an
Oh.
all F's and a D. We were supposed to write a book, and it counted for everything except for math. And I don't know what I was in 6th grade. I think it might have been the first semester. I'm new to 6th grade. Me and my best friend, we cutting up. We like, man, skip all that. So
Mhm.
we get the report cards. I hide the report. I told my sister, I said, hey, yeah, let me get your report card too. So I hide the report card. Me, my sister, and my dad go to Old Country Buffet. It's a restaurant. So we go there for breakfast. I got
I
perfect
know
attendance.
Old Country Buffet over there in Greensboro, North Carolina.
Yeah. So, I get perfect attendance or something like that. I get a little reward. We get free breakfast or whatever. So we go there. Why? They having a teachers conference at the Old Country Buffet that day.
Uh-huh.
And for some reason, my mom knew a teacher every grade I was in. So the one lady I hated, one of the teachers I hated the most, Miss Williams, she come on there. Hey, y'all, did you show them your report card? What the fuck are you? What a report
Oh my
card? What are
God.
you talking about? I'm like, so my dad like, they ain't get no report card. Yes, they did. And my sister like, he made me hide it. So I know. So we go home, get the report cards, and take it to my mom's job. Yeah. And she didn't even whoop me. She punished me for the whole summer. The whole summer.
I
The entire.
believe it. Like, you know something. Though, I honestly, and I need to do the research on this. I'm gonna go and look at crime stats from 1980 to 1995. And then I'm going to look at them from 1995 to like 2010. I want to see what the crime stats look like because when we were getting our asses whooped, we weren't doing all this crazy stuff. Do you
No.
remember? Just think about it. How many classmates can you really remember losing when you were in middle school? I don't remember losing any. Like, I remember one little boy had leukemia, but you lost people to illnesses, not to violence.
Mm, yeah, I would say like throughout school, like we had students, but like for me, I lost one. Like he was real close. He died in a car accident. Now I know people that's like been in my grade that have shot people that's in jail for
Mm.
murdering people. So I definitely know people that have shot people. Like it was like you said, it's not as bad, but I still remember going to middle school parties and it was shootings going on. Like it was funny because I have a 16. Well, she about to be 17, and she was 13. She went to her first little skating party, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, all right, I drop her off. She called me like an hour later, come get me, they shooting. And it wasn't funny, I was on my way, but I was like, man, I remember them days. And she was like, they was tasing, and she was all scared. And I'm like, oh, it's totally different for a girl. Like I wasn't excited about it as a kid, but I just remember like I remember going to them house parties and boys would be dumb and shooting it up. But yeah, it wasn't as much violence. Like we was riding bikes, we was doing a lot of fun stuff. But I think it's different because there's a lot of predators. There's a lot of people that's weirdos that do like crazy stuff to kids. Like here in Indianapolis, it's violent. Like last year it was 271 murders. Like is very like you got people snatching girls. It's all kinds of stuff, and it's like I don't remember that back in the 90s. I don't remember that growing up. Even in college, I kind of don't remember hearing about that kind of stuff. So it's like times is different, and I think a lot of children, youth, they don't realize the resources that they have. They have a phone, and they don't use it for nothing smart. They use it for dumb stuff
There
to
you go.
scroll, to sell drugs, whatever, make hit these licks or whatever. They're using a phone. They just don't realize like you can be a millionaire, a billionaire with your phone. You could be that at a teenager. So it's like now. So when did it click to you? Because it took me, because men and women are different. When did it took me to when I was 30 to really like my mind shifted to like from poverty. Not I didn't live in poverty, but that poverty mindset to a wealth mindset. When did you like what age? I was 30. So what age were you at?
You know what? I didn't have a choice. Like I've always understood how to do things. Cause just think about it. It really, I'm telling you, there is something to be said about this. Another thing that people need to do more research on. Children that are born to older parents versus children that are born to younger parents. Like I
Mm,
always knew that the wages of sin is death, but the gift of God is eternal life through Christ Jesus. And so the reason I say that is because that is a scripture that was drilled in our home over and over and over. So I say that to say what I knew was that if I get out here and act a fool, I'm going to die. Now, as an adult, I understand that my dad in the scripture was referencing a spiritual death. But as a kid, think about it. You hear this and I'm like, I don't want to die, dad. I'm gonna do what's right. You feel what
yeah,
I'm saying?
yeah, but or you could look at it as an adult, or yeah, as an adult, I would say, because as a kid, you think it probably died. But even as a mature kid, you look at it as if you out here acting up, your dreams is gonna die, your goals is gonna die. If you're
Absolutely true, true. Indeed,
like,
indeed.
yeah, so it's like when you're a celebrity, right, and you do something dumb, you doing something dumb, now your career over with, all your all your endorsements, all that you lose because you was out here being dumb. And that's because and I love what you said, like older parents and younger parents, and I get it because your parents were established, they were in their
Yeah.
40s, they were where they was living life. And it's like me,
They
I
were
had my
trying to get their life while they need to be raising their damn teenagers.
yeah, so for me as a parent, so my daughter is through marriage, but I've been in her life since she was 6.
Okay.
So when I had my son, that's like even having her is like I don't know, me and your mom just dating, we're together, but it could maybe end or whatever. So, but I always, we always still rock together. But when I had my son, I was 27. So I remember my mom always telling me as I got older, have a job, and have insurance when you have a kid. And so happened, like one of the first times I had a good job and I had benefits, I had my son. So it's like I wasn't like hurting for nothing. It was like we were able, my son doesn't really know what struggle is. He because he was too little when certain stuff happened. But it's like you said, like we were closer to our 30s, so we understood a little bit more than when she was younger, when she had her daughter, when my ex had her daughter. And it's like now that you're older, you understand, like you don't have to just because you have kids, you don't got to put your dreams away. You got to sacrifice, but you got to make sure those sacrifices are worth it, and you got to make sure that you're taking care of home. Like it's a lot different. Like I could see your dad. He's a man. He was a man. He wasn't like I'm saying, like as a 40-year-old, 50-year-old. He was a man's man. Like when you get to that age, and if you live in life right and you doing what's right, you're gonna be a man at 50. Like your grandkids could come up to you, or your kids, and they gonna get some knowledge. And so I can see where that helps you at. So and now it's triggering. I gotta get my head together, because you don't have the typical the typical kind of story. Even having two parents, you have older parents, so it's like it's a lot different.
You can have two parents and both parents be absent.
Ooh, wait, hold on. Say that. Please say that again.
You can have two parents and both of your damn parents are absent. And this is the thing. Let me say this about absent parents. Your parent can be absent due to illness, military, other jobs, because they just mentally not there. And I say that because my daddy went into Alzheimer's when I was about 13, 14 years old. So the man that I knew from birth to the age of 14 was not the man that I knew from 14 to 18 and a half, because for almost 5 years of my life, my dad had, Alzheimer's, and that changed my life. You know, I wanted to die. I was
Mm-hmm.
suicidal at the age of 14 because this man who I worshiped with every essence of my being, because he was my daddy. He was everybody's daddy. Everybody in the neighborhood. He was either Mr. Bo Jones, Uncle Bo, Uncle Bobo, or something. But he was my daddy. You feel what I'm saying? And,
Mm-hmm.
he taught me how to ride my four-wheeler before I could even walk good. Like, let me tell you something. This is why I tell people I did not grow up like the average kid. We had a boat. How many little black kids, had a boat? And guess who he named the boat after? My mama. And my mama never got in that damn boat. Now, black men didn't do stuff like that.
Mm-mm.
But you know what I told my brother the other day? And I don't mean no harm and no foul. But what I realized, the way our parents raised us is the way our counterparts raised their kids. Because my parents did not buy us name brand shit. I never owned a pair of Jordans until I got in college and got my boyfriend. Nope, I take that back. My grandmother bought me my first pair of Air Force Ones. My first boyfriend in college bought me my first pair of Jordans. And I didn't even really wear them then. But you know what I do remember? I remember my mother and father, even though my father was going into Alzheimer's, I remember my mother and father coming to pick me up from school on my 15th birthday. And we went straight to the DMV so I could take my test. And then I remember September 11th, 2001, when the towers went down, my brother was getting his '01 Jack Roush Mustang. And 2 weeks later, on September 22nd, I remember my parents coming to that school with my brand new car. And you know what my mama looked at me and said? She said, "Now, ain't you glad I ain't buy you all them high dollar shoes that your friends walking in and riding the yellow school bus?" So when I tell you, Eric, there is a reason why Lillie Mae is the way she is. And all that celebrity shit, all that name brand shit, that shit don't mean nothing to me. Because when a lot of the majority of those people lay down at night, they not happy. They happy on social media because they have to be happy because the world needs to believe that these things are making them happy. But let me tell you something. Every time I wake up in the morning and my feet touch the ground on this side of the dirt, I am happy because I know that I am wealthy. And I'm not talking about financially.
You better talk that talk. Hey, so yeah, no, I was about to let you preach. I was about to ask for a tithes and offering because when you said when you took me to church when you said when I put my feet on this other side of the dirt, I said, oh wait a minute, what, do I need to get my Bible? She was about to go. I felt it. So I'm the that's the so funny. I'm like kind of the same way. I didn't have Jordans. Jordan, what in the world? My mom took us to J.C. Penney's and we got the two for buy one get one half off.
Yes,
And we
sir.
went to listen. I have got school shoes from Myers, not the grocery store. Like they've had some like name like Nikes or Reeboks or something. I remember. No, I got some Reeboks. Right, I was in sixth or seventh grade. I can't remember, and they had maroon in it. What dude you know wearing maroon? Right. My mom got me some maroon corduroys and like this long sleeve like maroon kind of sweater shirt. When I look at it, I was fresh as all get out. But back then, niggas like, bro, what you got on? You got on the corduroys? You got on like I was getting like I wasn't getting roasted. I was roasted back, but I remember boys having jokes. But now that I look at it in fashion, I was fresh as could be. But I didn't grow up that way. And like even Jordans, right? So I bought some fake Jordans when I worked at Cedar Point. I knew they was fake, but I'm like I wanted to I ain't never been able to wear Jordan, so nobody knew outside of the people at Cedar Point. um, but so I never had real Jordan. I've never bought a pair of real Jordans for myself. The first pair of Jordans somebody ever, the real pair of Jordans was my ex wife. She bought them for Valentine's Day. And then I got a pair. I worked at a shoe store, and they was like, "Oh, we all gotta wear Jordan ones." Listen here, y'all in high school and y'all young and y'all ain't got bills. I'm not buying no pair of Jordans to wear them on one day. Y'all done lost y'all mind. So they got they got all their money together and they bought me a pair. So I've never bought or had a real pair of Jordans bought from myself. So I totally understand where you're coming from. And like you said, like I ain't got Louis and Gucci and all. Everything that I wear is either mine that I have my clothing line or somebody else that I know's clothing line. Like I'm
Listen,
not
I'm with it.
like
I'm
yeah,
with
like
it. And I'm okay with that. But you know something? You don't miss what you never had. But the other thing is,
oh, mm,
when you are comfortable with yourself, see, this is what I laugh at. I laugh at these people that say, "Oh, I'm real. Oh, I'm this and I'm that." You so real that you only go out the house when you got on a $800 jacket. You fake as hell.
mm.
Because you
But
got this $1,000 pocketbook, but you ain't got 20 cents in it.
oh, we she didn't hit somebody in the mouth.
Like my whole thing is, I like my little bags that I be getting from the house store. I sure do. I listen. Somebody said the other day, "Oh yeah, girl, because I don't ride number foreign cars, and you a foreign damn fool." Because one thing about it, if your car note costs more than where you live, it's a problem. I'm sorry.
Mm. So okay, I'm not in like the most best financial situation. Not because of anything. You gotta start somewhere. I
I
have a mindset. I have a budget. All that. So I live in a house. I have roommates. So, but I go to pick up my son or go over there, and it's me and my daughter. I'm going in the house with her,
mhm.
and I'm like, somebody live over here in a range, and they got a Range Rover in the apartment. That seems weird. Like what? That don't even make
When
you
you
know
ain't paying no
that.
bills, you can do that.
I'm like, huh? Like, why wouldn't you? Like, because people don't really understand our culture. Don't understand. Go get you a house. Even if you rent a house, it's better than renting an apartment. Like you can make it to where it becomes your own one day if you wanted to, or
Oh,
you know how to live in a house. That I think I was talking to my Uber driver. Yeah, it was an Uber driver. I was on my way home,
mhm.
and we was talking about growing up. He was like older than me, but I was like, I don't really like now that I live in Indianapolis, bigger city. I've lived in apartments with my kids, but when I was married, we lived in a house. That's what I knew. Like I didn't know what a. I mean, I remember 5 and under. We lived in the projects, but 5 and up, I always lived in the house, so it's like different. Like you got your neighbors, you got kids you grow up with. When you in apartments, you might have a homie you've been cool with 2 3 years, but then they move or you move, and it's like, dang, I don't even remember, bro. And it's like I think it's different when that happens, and I think sometimes when people live in apartments and they have that mindset, they their kids have that mindset. It's like all I know is an apartment, so that's what I'm just gonna keep doing. All I know is a house, so that's what I all I know, and that's all that I know for my kids,
That's
and
it.
that's
That's
where I have to get
it.
to. When I got married, I got a crib because I grew up in my crib. It was a starter crib, but it was bigger than the house I grew up. Listen, I think I cried when we got the house because it was like, man, I'm already further than where my parents was when I was a kid, and my son, I think he was like 5. So it's like when your parents put seeds in you, it's seeds you don't even understand. But then when you get an adult and it clicks, oh, that's why I do this.
That's it.
And that's why you are the way you are because you had like when black parents when they get to a certain age when they got enough seasoning where they can talk their shit, they gonna talk it, and
Uh-huh.
that's why you talk your shit. And I think I know what I'm gonna call this. It's a Jones thing because
You damn
you
right.
me and you. I think we cousins. We might have to look up the little ancestry tree, but
You
I feel
might
the
have
Jones
to.
because you be talking and I'm like, yeah, she might be my cousin because I feel it, and you being yourself, and it's like you're not talking like some people be like, oh, they talking about. No, I'm not talking about nobody. I'm just saying, does that make sense to you? Think about it different. I think sometimes people miss the point of the perspective rather than the actual point, or oh, I'm gonna point out the negative. Listen to what I'm saying and take from the perspective.
That's
Like you
it. Oh my gosh, you understand to a T. You understand to a T, honey. Yep, that's it.
I, I don't understand. Like it mind boggles me when people, because like me, so I'm different than you. I didn't grow up in the hood because I lived in a house, but I'm from that area. I know all that. And as a college kid, that's all I knew. Like I used to sell weed. I used to hit licks, all that. And so I know like the street form of it. And it's like, man, that's the stupidest way to think. I'm like, people really still out here gang banging? You rep a gang? Like what? Like that's stupid. You got kids, right? Oh, okay. You must don't care about your kids. Like people don't understand like some of the stuff that you did, like you have to stop doing it. And it's not gonna get you nowhere quicker. You've been selling dope for 20 years. You ain't got nowhere. Obviously you need a new occupation. Like, come on. Like it's not 1 + 1 = 2. Like, and it's like I said, for not just for the kids, for us adults. What have you made? What device have you made the most money off of that you have?
Mm, dang. My laptop.
And
Mhm.
most people have a laptop or have access to a laptop, especially the kids, right?
Mm,
So you made the most money off the laptop. What's the second thing you made the most money off of?
the piano.
Okay, not electric, like not that kind of like. Okay, that gets that count. So
Mm.
that's an instrument. So that's an instrument. So that's something that you're good at. So obviously we're all good at something. God gave us a gift.
Mhm.
What's the next thing that the device that you made the most money off of?
My phone, because when I'm not at my laptop, when I have my phone, I do things I can do just about as much as I can with my laptop. But the laptop is just more efficient.
Yes, that's why. That's why. I've only been able to do audio. It hurt me. My laptop down. I'm like, man, I wanted to be video because I wanted to build up my YouTube.
Told me that, yeah.
So, and I tried with the tablet. The tablet was not letting me be great, but I'm like, I'm not gonna let this stop me. I'm still gonna do the
You
audio.
keep doing what you doing.
And so you said the laptop. I would
Mhm.
say at least almost every household probably has a laptop.
You
Uh,
you teach school, you would be surprised. You would be surprised.
well, yeah. No, I'm in education, so yeah, you're right. But
Mm.
okay, okay, we're gonna scratch the laptop because a lot of people might not have their laptop. But you said the laptop and the phone are similar, so that means whatever you can almost, I would say about 80%. Some stuff you can't do. You just need the laptop for or software, whatever the case may be. But you have your phone, and we all have our phones in our hand. Like there should be some type of way we're being wealthy, and like you said, it's not financially, it's, excuse
Mhm.
me, personal development. It's um researching, because I'm sure you went to college, right? You didn't just wake up every day, go to class, and be able to just pass tests, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
You had
Absolutely.
to study. You had to study, right?
Look, when I got to college, I did. College and high school was totally different, Lord.
And because in college you were learning to what you're doing now, right?
For the most part, uh-huh.
And you said how many years from when? I think you said 10. So let's paint a picture.
Mhm.
So you have to study and research, and it didn't happen in a year. It wasn't, you didn't put it in the microwave, did you? You put it in that slow cooker, right?
I showed, baby, I slow walked it.
You slow walked it. So
I slow
you put it on simmer, like you put it on right above on, and
baby,
just let it.
all of
Okay,
that.
okay. You had all kinds of different seasoning in there, right?
You doggone right.
Because you had to, when you was 20, it was a little different when you was 30,
Mm.
and so you had to add a little maturity.
When I
What's
was
some of the other?
a child, I spoke as a child, but when I got grown, I put away the bullshit and made it happen.
Mm,
And stop
okay,
blaming. See, we got this thing where we want to blame everybody else for the
mm,
shit that go wrong. When the reality is, if you really think about this, my thing. If everybody is running away from you, at
mm,
what point do you realize that you the problem?
uh, oh, hey, I don't know, because um I feel like everybody gone from me. Was I the problem? But see, my prayer was, God, if they not for my future, don't, remove them. So
Now
I don't.
that's true. That's true. But they could have been praying the same prayer.
Mm,
And see,
mm.
and let me tell you something. Let me just tell you this.
Ooh, you
It
just
took me
punched
a
me in the.
long time to get to this point. I understand. We all want to be right. But you know something, when I start looking at myself in the mirror and saying, honey, you have been a bitch in your lifetime. So anything that come back, you deserve it. And when I accepted that and started to move differently, everything started to change. And the people that I was aligned with, because we were all broken together, they started falling off because I started to become whole.
Mm. So
Hmm.
so yeah, I'm tired of you punching me in the face. I know we family and all, but you
Oh, look, I don't want to punch you.
punching me in the face now. But yeah, like I think I had to understand I was an asshole, and like throughout life before I got mature. And so like you said, it's like you have to accept, like it's some stuff that I probably did maybe in my 20s that's just not just hit me. Like karma hit me like karma hit me after my divorce, or in the process of separation and divorce, hit me so hard, like, and I had to swallow as a man. Like, it ain't a lot of men that would have swallowed or been in the situation that I was in. And I was like, it's my fault. And my sister told me, because I was in the environment, I was still around my ex, even though we were separated. Uh, and she was like, you wouldn't have to know anything if you wasn't there. And I said, you right. Let me get the hell up out of here. Like I was getting comfortable. I was like, okay, when you kind of struggling and you somewhere comfortable, it's some food, it's a bed. Like I'm around my son, I'm around my daughter. Like it's cool, but it's not even the environment for me. It's like I had to man up and say, "Get the hell up out of here, bro!" Like
Mhm.
she winning. Like you not winning right now. Like you not winning at all. And then sometimes we have to accept that. We have to accept that loss. But it's not a loss; it's a lesson. It's like, okay, you should never be in this situation ever again. You should always have your own. Like, don't ever not have your own, because when you don't, people can take advantage of you and they'll make you feel like you're lesser than a woman or a man. So I had to learn that. And I'm like, all right, let me get off my ass, and I'm working. I'm building my podcast. I'm doing all this stuff, but it's like life is like really kicking my ass. But I understood this ain't from right now. This from something I did years ago. This is from something and I had to accept that. And I just interviewed somebody, and one of the tips he said, you gotta look in the mirror. Like go look in the mirror and just look at yourself, and
That,
you'll talk back.
baby, that's let me tell you something. And my mother told me that. That's one thing. You know how parents always tell their kids, "Oh, baby, you this and you that." Do you know that my mother never ever really boasted about anything me and my brother accomplished?
Mm,
You know that. Our daddy did, but my mom didn't. And I tell people all the time that balance is something I appreciate
mm.
because that's what taught me to do shit for purpose. Cause
Ooh.
mommy used to say stuff like, okay, you got straight A's. So what does that mean? Are you helping your classmates bring their grades up? My mother used to say stuff like that.
Mm,
She never wanted her children to be those damn kids that their shit didn't stink.
mm.
So she
Listen.
knew everybody else was praising us. So she didn't want, you get what I'm saying? She had to
Yeah.
be that counterbalance. She had to be. And I thank God for it.
Mm. Yeah, I'm that way. Like my daughter probably won't realize that. Hopefully, I'm gonna send this one to her. But I was that way. Like she'll come home with good grades. That's what you're supposed to do when you go to school.
Mhm.
But her mom, oh, that's how their mom is, and I'm more about like the purpose. But I realized my like even though I had to do it just for me anyways,
Mhm.
because my parents didn't. My I don't know if my parents ever know like really seen me play basketball,
Oh,
like
wow.
to really know that they son that was born with a disability really gets down with the get down on the basketball court. Like
Wow.
I like my mom came to some games, but my dad never did. Like we played on the me and him play every now and then, but they ain't never just come, watch me hoop at the courts or nothing.
Mhm. Mhm.
And it's like I wasn't doing it for them. I was doing it for me, in which it was helping other people. So now, like you just really gave me that it wasn't whatever their reasoning was, but it taught me not to do something because it pleased somebody. Do it because I wanted to do it, because that's who I was. Like I promise they ain't never take me to the basketball court to say let's go shoot hoops. I'm gonna
Mhm.
say, hey, I'm going to the court, or I'm going to whatever park. And that's crazy now that I really think of that. I'm glad that I'm glad you said that, because that really helps me now. It's like I'm not doing it for nobody else. I'm doing it because Eric Jones Jr. wants to do it, and
That's
that's the
right.
only reason behind it. And sometimes we as people don't do it because mom or dad didn't applaud us, or mom or dad said we had to do this.
Mm-mm. And you know something, that's something else. My mother never told us what we had to do or what we didn't have to do. She let us find our own way. So it won't like you gotta go to college, you gotta do that. But what she did say when I got older, And she was like, people would be like, well, what is your daughter doing now? Because she always doing something. And my mama said, I don't really know what she doing, but I know whatever she do, she gonna be good at it. And whatever she gonna do is gonna be great. And lo and behold,
Okay, I like my dukes. I like
oh
her.
yeah, and my mother, she, and I will say, she's going into she's in the early stages of dementia now. She's 83.
Hmm.
But I'm so thankful that I can call her every morning between 8:30 and 9:30 and get a laugh, and just, I every year that my mother lives past the age that my dad passed, because my dad passed at 75. So every year that my mother lives past 75, I'm just utterly grateful. So you can never prepare, right? But
Yeah.
what I do know is that I have had the best years with my mama.
Mm.
And so knowing my mother and knowing the things that she loves, I don't want to watch my mother go through Alzheimer's as deep as my father did.
Yeah.
It would be my prayer that God would spare her that, because I know that my mother is very in control of things, and so that would kill me to watch my another parent go through that.
Yeah. I
Yep.
definitely I definitely understand that because that's how my grandma she went through that, and it was hard seeing her. Like she still kind of like she knew who we were. Like I think she just felt that she knew who we were, but it was times like that. But what you said about your mom living longer than your dad, for me, my dad died when I was, well, when he was I think 27 or 28. So he died of cancer. So for the longest of time I was scared to grow up because I thought like, oh, okay, my dad died of cancer at this age. I'm probably gonna die young. And when my dad passed away, the age that I was, I had my son, and I was like, wow. And every year is like, because my grandfather died of cancer, my dad died of cancer, my biological dad. So I'm like, who, you know, I hope I would never get that. And it's like the same thinking as you. Like I wouldn't want to me to get that and then end up passing away at an early age where my son wouldn't be able to have his dad there, and because I know what that feeling's like. So it's
Mm.
crazy when you have health issues and certain stuff goes on in life, and you really it makes you think about certain stuff different ways. So I definitely understand, where you coming from. Because as a shorty, I'm like, man, I'm not trying to, I'm not trying to get old. I'm trying to stay young. Like I'm scared to get old, and I didn't even tell people that until I got like older and past that age and was able to be transparent. This
Absolutely, absolutely.
this I don't I mean usually we talk about like exactly what people do and stuff like we just had a I think we just had a good conversation, like we was on the porch, um and the kind of day I had, my drink of choice would be a little bit of Hennessy. I don't
Okay.
know if what your choice would be, if it would be tea, water, whatever it would be for you, but for me after the day
How you know I don't drink?
uh, I didn't want
I
I
was
said
about
I
to say
don't
my
drink.
choice would be pineapple juice and ginger ale or lemonade, because I
uh,
don't drink no more.
no, that's the thing, I don't drink, but after the day and the week I've had, I definitely would want to drink, but I'm
Oh,
not. After this is 9:30. I'm going to sleep. I'm about to turn
I
on some
understand.
music. Sleep. I had my tacos before we did this, so I was prepared. So I wasn't hungry, and yeah, I'm about to go to sleep soon. So, but what are three tips you could give somebody to help change their mindset from average to great?
In order to change your mindset from average to great, the first thing you have to do is reevaluate where you place your value. And if it isn't something that's going to go down in the dirt with you, reassess how much time you put into it. Because when you leave this world, All you have is your name and the things that you've done to impact the people that you leave on earth. The second thing I would say is become self aware. Understand your weaknesses, but don't dwell on them. Understand your weaknesses, but capitalize on your strengths. And finally, keep your feet on the ground. Keep your feet on the ground. Don't fall. Don't kneel unless you're praying. Keep your feet on the ground because as long as your feet are on the ground, you can move.
Hey, it's got to be a southern thing about putting your feet on because I don't know if you listen to Inky Johnson and his podcast. I ain't even gonna jack up. I can't think of how to say the name, but it's him and his mentor Oak, and they're from Georgia, and they always say be where your feet are at,
Oh, wow.
and yeah, be where your feet are at. Like you got to be grateful for where your feet are at and understand you have to be grateful for where you're at, and then that's how you can move forward, because if you're not grateful for where you're at, how you going to be grateful if you get more? And that's kind of in the Bible. You gotta be able to handle a little before you can get big,
There
have
you
big.
go. There you go. You can't get busy with more if you, Hello,
Yeah,
somebody.
yeah. Like, listen, I'm gonna try to. I might think of a different name, because you brought a little let's see, West Side, no, I can't say Compton. I'm gonna say whatever the West Side or wherever somebody is. Hello Baptist Church sermon. Like you gave like a little bit of God, you gave a little bit of little ratchet, and not ratchet, but
You know what?
little
And this is
ghetto.
actually my personality. Absolutely.
Yeah.
All of
Yeah,
it.
and
Every single
see, that's me, and you loud, and I'm loud. Like I'm telling you, people be like, "You talking loud?" No, that's me. I just talk loud. I don't know how to turn it down. And my son is a little me. His mama was just telling me earlier. She's like, "Oh, I can't wait for him to go with you, because this boy will not stop talking." And I
Oh,
won't. And I
let
and
it
I
do it.
and I do the same thing. Like
Right.
so, yeah. So I need an underdog quote. Something for underdog that you can think of. I need a quote, because I think I'm starting to do that with everybody, an underdog quote for different topics. So I'm gonna come up with something and put the underdog quote in some form at some point.
Mean what you say and say what you mean.
Mm,
That's
mm,
straight from Betty Lou, my mama.
OG triple OG talk.
Honey, and she is one. She is that, cause honey, Betty Lou been gangster, honey.
All right, hey, I ain't gonna hold you. She sound like my granny. Like my granny was not no plaything, and her and my granddad, like they used to say stuff, and it didn't make sense, but it made sense, and it was like, okay, I get it. And you under like when you're around the older community, you under not nope, you ain't gonna cut me. Nope, not the older, the seasoned community. They'll say some stuff that don't make sense, but it makes sense. So you gotta watch. So let the people know how they can reach you, find out more about you, maybe work with you. Because like I said, she do everything. Like, I don't know how she do it, and she says she work. I don't know. We gonna have to talk off here. I need some help, because I work and do stuff, and I was tired. I don't know. My brain is like, hey,
Say I
brother,
ain't
sit down.
tired. Now I didn't say I ain't tired. I just said we make it work. I did not say I ain't tired.
Well, I need to figure out a way to make it work, because I'm tired and it ain't working all the way. But yeah, let the people know how they can reach you. Oh man.
Well, I am Lillie Mae, the collective on everything. If you want to go to my website, it's lilliemaecollective.com. That's www.lilliemaecollective.com.
Mm. Well, you know how to reach Miss Lillie Mae. No, I'm so we cousins. She not older, y'all. It's just the name. I'm sorry. It just when I seen I understood. You know how some people had a name, and I could tell that you had older parents by your name, and nothing against you or anything, but I
Oh,
just
listen, let me tell you something. One thing about you ain't never got to apologize to me because, baby, no offense taken. Lillie Mae is all about perseverance, tenacity, and determination. So
mm.
I'm with it.
Hey, listen. I was joking. You don't gotta punch me in the face now.
Look,
Like,
I
come on.
got you.
Like,
I got you, baby. No, but I bet you have to apologize to people a lot because everybody's so DAMN sensitive.
yeah, yeah. It's yeah, because like I said, I had a hoodie on earlier, and it's a collective I got. It's lovable asshole. Like I like you gonna be like, I love being around Eric, but he gonna say some stuff off the wall, like, or he gonna give it to you how you need to be heard it, because I would want the same thing. Like I don't want you to sugarcoat, and I'm not gonna sugarcoat. I love when my friends or people be like, hey, I need your opinion because I know you gonna give it to me funky, and I love it because they know I'm not gonna hold back. So sometimes I'm unapologetic, but I didn't know how you was gonna take it, but now I know I ain't gonna joke with you
You are
because you
just
ain't gonna keep you. No, you ain't gonna, I'm telling you, I probably got a black eye and a bloody nose after this. You didn't slap me a few times. You just punched me. I don't know. I don't know how, like I understand. I said we was cousins, but I ain't know you was gonna beat me up, big cousin. Like I mean, you're a year older, but you ain't have to do me like that. I'm sure some people listening, you did that to them too. And it's not in a bad way that you slap somebody. It's a wake up call. It's like, hey, ooh, she said something that could help me. Let me change what I've been doing. It's all about perspective. And it's all about purpose over popularity. Cause definitely that's one of the most important things, your purpose over popularity. Cause everybody ain't gonna like you. Everybody ain't like Jesus. So they ain't gonna like you, but we all have a purpose to live out while we're here on earth.
absolutely, absolutely.
And any closing words? Let me know if you going which way you gonna swing, left, right, or through the middle, so I can kind of bob and weave. Cause I feel like you about to hit me again. But any closing words, ma'am?
You know what? Honestly, no. I'm very appreciative that you allowed me to come on to the Underdogs podcast. I love the name. I'm all about the underdogs because they always sleep on us, but we always rise because what was once last will soon be first.
And on that note, all right, reach me on Underdog Podcast at Gmail, Underdog Podcast on Underdog Pack. I didn't messed up. Underdog Podcast Talk at Gmail, Underdog Talk Podcast on any social media, Facebook and Instagram, and on YouTube. And on that note, from what she said, peace, one love.